is DDG? and why am I supposed to care about his thoughts on anything? I'm very happy that they have broken up, so I don't get to keep seeing this name attached to this girl's name when I don't know him for nothing as a standalone. And for me, it's important to know people based off their own name and merit and what they have done. Every time I see his name, it's attached to hers, and it's typically in some type of clout chaser fashion. So that makes me look at him a different way, and hopefully I get to look at him a lot less now that they've broken.
Well, she's extremely she's high profile.
Very high profile and very talented.
And you saying her head game is trash, gonna go get their own account.
Yeah, we figured it out.
They're gonna go find out on their own, number one. And number two, if it was that trash, why you snatched that cherry so fast, my boy? I mean, if her head was as bad as you say, that cherry didn't levitate long before you got in action, DDG.
That's
I
impressive.
don't even know what that stands for.
What does DDG stand for? Daryl Dwayne Granberry.
Yo, your name Granberry? You know what my thing is with these that's on the rise and they want to go get with the chick with some notoriety that's also on the rise?
Now, before he finishes this video, listen, welcome to Dark Arts Podcast. Can I just be honest with you? I don't like this kind of behavior from Joe Budden. And it's giving haterish vibes. Now, it may be business for him. Maybe he's trying to incite some business, get some traffic coming his way. He did the same thing with Kai Cenat. But it does give old head hating on young heads. I never liked that, man. It's giving jealousy. You know, when you are a grown-ass man and you are talking like this, I feel like it's a bit of jealousy because really and truly, you could have gone and done your research. Really and truly, if you had a guest on who was a millionaire, multi-millionaire, or even a billionaire in another country, maybe he was a Sikh, or so maybe he was in a Arab Dhabi or whatever, and you had to interview him, right? You do your work and your research. Now, this particular behavior just shows an insolence and shows a young mind of immaturity, right? And the saying obviously I don't know him unless I know his girlfriend, and it's like, broski, I hear that, but you could have done research. The young man has done well for himself. He's carved out a career. One of the early people on YouTube who really was doing pranks and stuff like that, right? And really, blew up from it. So, I don't like that kind of behavior from Joe Budden because, and then we're taking a make out, what kind of name is Granberry? What kind of name is Budden? Like, you know what I'm saying to you? We can all do that. Like, it's childish, it's impudent, and it just shows a level of immaturity that I think I've seen from Joe Budden quite a few times whenever he addresses something, and it's like it lacks the nuance and as someone might say, demure. It lacks that ability to be able to really have a nuanced conversation around the issue. And I always don't like when men kind of hate on men in a particular way. If you're gonna say that you don't rate what he does, by all means critique it, but there's a way to do it rather than going, because we talk about DDG behaving like a woman, not me personally, but I've heard it said, right? Joe Budden has a lot of those feminine traits you want to talk about, right? If we were to say that he is. Because a lot of the things that he does always ends up in him insulting somebody, him raising his voice, him being tumultuous. And it really doesn't get to the heart of what we actually need to talk about, right? Because everything we just spoken about is I never heard his name except for clout chasing and Halle Bailey. Well, then maybe you should have done some research, right? Maybe you're not familiar with his world, and that's why you don't know him, right? He kind of did the same thing with Kai Cenat, and it's like, you've got a pattern, right? And, so for me personally, I'm always careful of that, you know what I'm saying to you. But listen, welcome to Dark Arts Podcast. We're just discussing some real things here. So let's listen a bit more of the video and we'll watch the DDG response as well.
Salute, by the way.
Whenever that relationship fails, I never see them bounce back with something that's going to get Shorty upset. I normally never hear from them again in the dating realm. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm going to ever hear about DDG and his next chick.
I'm on...
Well, his chick before her.
Yes, because what we're talking about is two different domains of being quote-unquote famous, right? We have the traditional route, which is, he's given the African uncle all over again, African auntie and uncle who don't know anything else apart from be a doctor, what's his comedian, be a doctor, you want to be a rapper? Like you're given that same energy, right? Which is that you're lacking the nuance and the mindset to really open your mind out that there are different ways people make money. There are people who make more money than you've ever made in your whole entire life, Joe Budden, that you do not know about. Now, would you talk about them this way? No. It's the whole point. You know what I'm saying to you? You want to hear about, we never really hear about the guy again, about his next chick. We don't need to. Is he thriving in his career? That's what you need to pay attention to. If he's thriving in his career, focus on that. The reason why we know DDG is because of the fact that Halle Bailey became Little Mermaid, and Little Mermaid is what we call a traditional famous, becoming traditionally famous through the means of movies, right? But as we're starting to see, blockbuster movies are even starting to go out, starting to wane a little bit, and we're starting to watch a lot of things on Netflix. I mean, listen, I love the cinema. I go every time I can go, but I'm starting to realize we're not even putting out good films anymore. Most of the good films now are coming on Netflix or TV shows, right? Coming on independent networks now. So you can realize that the environment is shifting. And so the way to become quote unquote famous is shifting. There are so many people that are famous that are not through the traditional route of just being a movie star, which is a very select few, or a rapper, because at one point people wouldn't have considered rappers to be an iconic person either. So you would have been in that same bracket a couple of decades ago, right? But by the grace of God, you know, we now see that's a viable means. DDG is a content creator, social media content creator, and that's why Kai Cenat has so much power. This is why music artists are now starting to go to Kai Cenat to get the stamp of approval. He's become so powerful, even probably more powerful than you have become, Joe Budden. But you see, when you don't look at it that way, and you only look at it from your lens, and you talk the way you're talking, it shows that lack of intelligence, you know, to really, really deep what's going on around you. Let's listen a bit more.
You know who she is?
I don't.
Who?
Ruby. I'll talk your DDG.
Who was the chick before her? I'm afraid that we view that differently.
And
now he's moving the goalpost. You know who Ruby is, and he didn't want to acknowledge it. Now you're moving the goalpost, but we didn't know who his goal was before. Okay, bro, sometimes just surrender. The point was wrong. Surrender the point. Sometimes the point is wrong. And even if it wasn't Ruby Rose, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever woman he has doesn't make a difference. The whole point of the matter is, yes, he's dating somebody who's more in the limelight in the traditional sense, but those of us who are very much aware of the social media content space, we know him, right? And other people know him too, right? There are people who won't even know who Kai Cenat is, because that's not their environment, that's not their steez, and that's understandable. But he's very, very much famous.
there was a whole lot going on with her where she was doing clout chasey to their relationship.
Well, Ruby is a hustler and a business owner. Mm-hmm. Who was the young? It's given the bias that Bob Budden likes to do. Ruby's a businesswoman and a hustler, so because you know her. That's the whole point. You know of her. I wouldn't have known about Ruby Rose until DDG. And I didn't even really know TDG that well, right? It's only because I saw some of the YouTube comments, and obviously I've been on YouTube, so that's the reason why. You know what I'm saying to you? So, again, your point falls flat, and this is why sometimes just backtrack. Just be able to be humble sometimes. Be like, you know what? I got that wrong, young king. That's my bad. Lady before her.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's what troubles me. That's what troubles me. Good luck, DDG. This will be your first and last time being mentioned on this broadcast for the rest of eternity.
People like that, usually it doesn't work like that. You go and push that young man to be even bigger than before, right? Trauma creates a level of success for people because they're now motivated to go and do something. And I'm telling you, listen, bro, you say it the last time. We might be doing a video in a couple of years' time. You're doing another video on him.
Joe Budden. We gotta get into that, man. We gotta get into
that
Joe Budden
right there, man.
We gotta get into that. You know how this works, Joe Budden. So I don't want to cuss too much, and say what I really want to say. But you don't really know who you talking to for real. And I don't even come on here on no, I ain't coming on here to say I'm gonna whoop your ass. I will. Just don't get it fucked up. I'll beat the shit out of you. But I ain't coming on here to say that. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm coming on here to say you talking to a real social media legend. You talking to a real, somebody that
Talk your talk,
put
DDG.
their family in position to win. Somebody that motivated your kids, motivated your family, your nieces and nephews. Somebody that entertained them for years. Somebody that really put a stamp on some shit. In music, I got way more accolades than you in music, and I'm doing way better than you in life in general. And I'm 26, and you're 44. 44. I looked up. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna
44.
lie. I didn't know who Joe Budden was until he sat next to academics.
Now, that's probably plausible, but I would say to you, you're 27, I'm 33. I know it's only 6 years apart, but I mean, how true is that? You know what I mean? And listen, I hear what you're trying to say. I know the point you're trying to make. Well, how true is that? You know what I'm saying to you? How true is that? DDG. I want to be fair. How true is that, sir? You know what I'm saying to you?
I ain't know who Joe Budden was till the Migos down there. You know what they did to him. Everybody know what the Migos did. That's the most I know
Fair
about
enough.
Joe Budden. And then when I looked him up today, I ain't know he made the pumping song. Like, yo, come on, man. That's what you
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
tell your
I
people.
was
Hey,
in the
bro,
car.
I'm that nigga.
No,
I
no,
made
no.
pump it.
No. I don't know what label he was signed to. They had that bitch on the radio, but you know where they had it at the most?
Where?
The trampoline parks. That's the only place I know you from. Because I used to go to the trampoline parks and they used to play Pump It Up.
No.
Oh my God. And he got
He got a
one
cheerleader song.
cheerleader
He
song.
made a cheerleader song. Now, like, come on, like,
pump it up.
like you
Pump-
be dancing to that
pump
motherfucker.
it.
Now listen, I totally get it. Listen, I understand. You want to get your steez back. You want to get him back for what he said to you. But I think this is childish anyway. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, I don't know you. I didn't know you from Pump. Listen, bro, Pump It Up was a big song. Well, regardless of what everybody says, you know what I'm saying? Joe Budden's Pump It. Listen, that song was big. Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying to you? We still don't forget you got served heavy. You know what I'm saying to you? But you know, like I said, if I'm gonna say the same thing for Joe, I want to say the same thing about DDG. I want to see some grown, mature behavior. If you're gonna come back to him, keep the facts on the table. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you were doing before. But the moment you start mocking him, you fall into the same bracket that he is, and then it just turns into an all-out war. Maybe that's what you want, because maybe for both parties, clout is actually really a good thing, right?
Yeah. Went gold in 20 years. 20 years? It took you 20 years to go gold?
Wait, what that mean?
To get a gold record, you got to sell 500,000 copies, right? Mind you, just to put it in perspective, I got 3 gold records and 1 double platinum. And I'm nowhere. This man is old enough to be my uncle, my pops. Like, this is
We
an
call
old
it
man.
OG. He OG.
He ain't OG to me. You ain't get no respect from me. But he like an old dude. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's like, when I see shit like that, I'm like, damn, I ain't gonna lie. I looked up his accolades and it made me feel way better about myself. Because a lot of people be on me crazy. But these ain't even got plaques. Like, this man has 1 plaque in his home.
I didn't know he had gone gold 3 times, so I didn't even know that about him. So shout out to DDG for achieving that once more again. You know, of course, a different different landscape, Joe Budden to what it is now. And so I want to be fair to Joe Budden. I don't want to make it anything like that. But I totally understand where DDG is coming from. Like, what he's basically saying is, listen, you how much have you achieved before you want to start talking to me like you're talking to me? Which I actually feel like is fair in some respect. That's what I said. But keep it factual, and that's what I always respect. You know what I'm saying to you? But you know, saying that you don't know the person, you don't know where they came from, like that, bro. We grew up on Joe Budden in a sense of some of the things that he had obviously, some of the stuff that he had achieved had also cultivated some of the, you know, marinated in some of the cultural things that we've experienced. Like I said, I kept on saying you got served, because that's where, even for me, for UK, that's where I heard him. You know what I'm saying? That first time I ever really heard Joe Budden. And obviously then I saw him on Love and Hip Hop. So, you know, again, but like I said, not everyone has watched Love and Hip Hop, so they would have not encountered Joe Budden. They might not even know who Joe Budden is. You know what I'm saying to you? So again, everything's about perspective. But the whole point of that situation is this, right? It gets ugly. It gets ugly when we do these kind of stuff, right? Because and neither of them are going to be right when you're trying to take the mick out of each other, or trying to say, I don't know who you actually are, because you're responding to each other. So clearly, if you don't know who each other person is, you wouldn't be responding to each other. So you both know who each other are enough to be able to respond. Or at least you see the clout from each other to be able to respond, whichever way you want to look at it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But I'm going to leave it there. Listen, what's your thoughts down below? Let me know down below. But interesting thing.